expensive, we're staying at room 13. Usually airy and usually very, and that's just how my life goes. And I don't ever try to dress to impress. Fuck you, preppy asshole. On the 14th floor where the bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the police mix, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war.
Welcome in to episode 23 of Phired Up, presented by the Belly Up Podcast Network, bellyupsports.com. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. My name is Mike Gilletto. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Not much. What's going on with you?
Not much. Have you seen any new movies recently? Any music you've been listening to? Anything good out there in the world? Because I really don't want to talk about the Eagles. So let's just talk about some good music, some movies. If you have any joke to open up the show, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. So I do have a joke for you, actually.
Okay. All right, let's hear it.
It's not long, but it's definitely not a short. But okay. So no. There's a point to this joke. There's a moral. I want to see if you can point it out. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So there's this fly, right? And he's flying in the forest. Okay.
Okay.
Now it's a beautiful afternoon. The sun's out. The birds.
Is this
are
a true
chirping.
story?
No.
Okay.
This is just see if you can point out the moral.
Okay, that's fine. I'm listening.
Okay. So again, there's a fly flying in the forest. It's a beautiful afternoon. The sun's out. The birds are chirping. It's just all around a good day. Now, this fly, he obviously he's very small, but he's got the ego of an elephant, right? So he's flying in the forest this afternoon, and he spots a pile of shit across the river that he wants to eat for lunch.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So, like I said, he's got this big ego. He likes to see himself, right? He likes his reflection. So he says, while I fly over the river, I'm going to look at myself in the reflection, right?
Okay.
But the only way to do that is if he flies 6 inches over the water, over the river. So what he doesn't know is there's a fish in the river who is waiting for this fly to fly 6 inches over the river so he can have his lunch for the day. But little does the fish know that there's this bear that's in the shallow ends waiting for this fish to jump out so he can have his lunch. Little does this bear know that there's this man with a rifle hiding behind a tree waiting for the bear to make the right move so this man can pull the trigger and have his lunch for the day. But little does this man know there's a mouse standing behind him waiting for this man to pull the trigger on his rifle so the cheese falls out of his pocket so this mouse could have his lunch for the day. But little does this mouse know...
This keeps going, huh?
Yeah. Little does this mouse know that there is a cat hiding in the bushes waiting for the piece of cheese to fall out of the man's pocket so that the mouse could go after the cheese and the cat can make his move so he can have his lunch.
Okay.
So back to the beginning, the fly.
Yep.
The fly decides, I'm going to fly 6 inches above the water so I can see myself while I go eat my pile of shit. So the fly flies 6 inches over, the fish jumps out, eats his lunch, the bear grabs the fish, the man pulls the trigger on the rifle, the cheese falls out of his pocket, the mouse runs after the cheese, but the cat jumps so high in the air from the sound of the rifle that he falls into the water, and now he's soaking wet, right?
Okay.
What's the moral of the story?
I don't know. You kept me on the edge of my seat for so long, and I need to know the moral. What is the moral of that story? Cats are pussies. I'll just say it there. There you go. That's my moral.
It's a little close. So if your fly is 6 inches down, it gets the pussy wet.
All right, so
But I'm bum tusk.
I was there. I was in the right ballpark. You know what I mean?
It's just a little funny thing I saw on the internet.
That's a great. How many times did it take you to rehearse that whole joke? That was a mouthful. That was a lot going on there.
I actually, the original joke, I added a lot to that joke.
Okay.
The original joke was like the fly just flies over the river. Like I added the whole ego thing and like he likes his reflection because it kind of like put the joke together a little bit.
Absolutely. You definitely added to that joke to make that better. That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember that to recite it again, but it was good.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It was good.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, I know a couple weeks ago, because again, don't really want to talk much Eagles. We'll get there eventually. I know a couple weeks ago, actually, if you saw Untold Crime and Penalties on Netflix, did you get a chance to watch that yet?
I haven't.
No?
I've been so busy between like work and school
Right.
and like this and that and life and
preparing for a wedding. I
coming
get it.
up. Yep. But I do want to watch it. I will watch it.
For anybody listening or watching on Netflix, Untold Crime and Penalties, it's a documentary about basically an Italian mobster owned a trash company up in Connecticut, buys a minor league hockey team, and appoints his 17-year-old son to run the franchise. And it's really interesting. It's really short. It's like an hour and 20-minute documentary. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. They got like former NHLer like Mike Rupp to join the team during the lockout year in '04. It was a very interesting documentary. Definitely recommend people to check that out.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to. I've been hearing a lot of great things about it. Just like I said, my life has been so crazy these last couple weeks, months. I just haven't gotten around to it. So what's funny is, I've seen The Sopranos twice, like the whole series, and my fiance and I are actually watching it, rewatching it. She's seen it as like most episodes as a kid, but not as an adult. So we're rewatching that, but we really haven't been able to watch much of it because the movie comes out on October 1st, I think.
Yep.
And it's the prequel to the series when Tony Soprano's a kid, and he starts getting into that mafia life.
Right, Gandolfini's son plays his younger self. Yep.
Yep. There's a lot of it's a star-studded cast. Like
it is.
There's a lot of people also like, oh, I know his face, like. But yeah, I mean, we haven't even really been able to watch much of The Sopranos lately. I mean, I'm prepared for the movie, but because, like I said, I've seen the series twice so far. So
well, it's funny you brought that up because the guy that who bought the hockey team, Jimmy Galante, is based off of Tony Soprano.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Tony Soprano is based off of him, so he's the real life Tony Soprano. It's funny.
Okay.
It's funny that you brought that full circle.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's a great documentary. I recommend people checking it out.
Yeah.
And then on the music, did you see your boy has a new book coming out? Dave Grohl. Did you see that? I saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. I was like, I got to bring that up.
Yeah. It's definitely some cool stuff. I have the book he wrote with his mother. His mother's like an English teacher.
Oh, really?
English teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
Funny enough, he actually dropped out of high school, but
right.
But I have that book, and she like interviews like other musicians' parents and like how they raised their kids and like things. I think it was like LL Cool J's mom.
Oh wow.
Like Miranda Lambert's mom, Pharrell's mom, like just a bunch of different people from different areas of music, and it's a pretty cool read. But yeah, I think this book is based off of like his life experiences or something.
Okay.
I'm
sure it'll be a good read.
Right.
I'm sure he has stories for days.
Oh, for sure. You know what other book I actually have that I'm halfway through. It has nothing to do with sports, but the Seth Rogen like memoir.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing where like he talks about stories of him growing up, making his movies. Like each chapter is a different point in his life. Whether, like I think the first chapter starts off with like his young life and what got him into comedy, and like the relationship with like his grandparents and like how they helped him. Right, like they were the bear of his jokes. Like when he was he was like 11 years old and started in comedy, and like, he would do stand up and things like that. And then the next chapter was like high school, and then the chapter after that was like when he was like 8 years old. So like it jumps all over the place. But that's a really good read. I have a signed copy, which is pretty cool.
Really? I'll have to check that out. Like I like like Seth Rogen's like early stuff, like the Superbads, obviously stuff like that. I haven't really seen much of what he's done recently, and he's kind of trying to get into the more serious realm a little bit, but like but his old school, like the Superbad days are great.
Yeah, for sure. There you go.
So.
I was waiting for it. Like he's one of my favorites ever. Superbad's, Knocked Up.
They're all great.
You know, all of them. I actually just watched 2 of his more recent movies. The one with Charlize Theron. She's like the Secretary of State or whatever. Like,
Okay.
She's a big politician, and like
Right.
he's a journalist. So like, I think she's one side of the party, and he's on the other side, and like
Okay.
but he winds up writing for her, and like it's kind of cool with like the way politics are today, like how 2 different sides can and it's
So
like a love
divided.
story,
Okay.
and how they
Yeah.
come together, and like you know it's definitely
So
a
it's
love
a
story,
fiction.
like, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then the other one was the Jewish pickle. He like his great grandfather, who he plays as well.
Right.
He falls into like the pickle juice or whatever, and his body preserves for all these years, and he comes back to life, and it's stupid, but like it's funny.
Right. Right.
And
Exactly.
he plays his great grandfather and himself, so it's like, you know, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. All right. So let's get into it. I really didn't want to go there. Let's just talk about the Eagles' loss. I really don't want to spend too much time. This show might be we've gone about 12 minutes. This show might be like 15 minutes total because I really didn't want to have to do it. But they get blown out. What was the final score? 41-21. I know last week when we were on last Monday, you said you were hoping this game was out of hand by halftime, so this way you could go to bed. Did you actually go to bed, or did you stay up and watch that whole game?
No, I stayed up. I told myself I wasn't going to, but I did. It's too early in the season.
Right.
So, yeah, and I stayed up from, I think, until, like, 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter or whatever it was. So, like, I just,
Right.
you know, I'm too invested in this
I
team.
dozed off somewhere, like on the couch somewhere about what was it? I mean, somewhere in the third quarter. I woke up around in the fourth quarter, and I was like, all right, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah. It's more fun to go back to sleep.
Right. Hurts sucks ass. I agree. Hurts is terrible. And I don't want to say that loss is completely on him because there were so many things that happened in that game that was wrong. Like Sirianni's play calling was terrible. I thought like let's talk about Miles Sanders for a second. Okay? Miles Sanders didn't get his first carry until there were 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Miles Sanders had 2 carries all game. How does that happen? The Dallas Cowboys had 20 rushes for 115 yards before the Eagles had their very first rushing play.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And their first rushing play was actually before the Sanders. It was
The read option where he got
read
sacked.
option where
-3, I
Hurts,
think it was.
right. Yeah. So for that to be the first run in the second quarter or whatever it was, I don't get it because this whole offseason we were told that they're going to run the ball, they're going to pound the ball, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. You know what this tells me? That now this is the second coach where they're not running the football, right?
But
it's got to be coming from upstairs, right?
But isn't that what we heard all offseason though about how run heavy they were going to be, how great Miles Sanders was going to? Miles Sanders didn't play in the preseason because they said, oh well, we know what he is. He's our feature back. He's going to be the center, the focal point of the offense, and he hasn't been that. I think in the first 3 games he's had 30 carries combined, I believe.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like it's got to be. Sirianni was always this run guy. Like where's the run? I mean, it's got to be coming from upstairs. It's got to be coming from the front office.
No, I get it. In the second half, you're getting blown out. You obviously have to pass at that point. But
yeah, but when it's 27-14, you can still
but the first
run
half,
the ball in
there's
the
no
third quarter.
excuse. There's no excuse.
But it's 27-14. You can run the ball in the third quarter. You don't have to throw it all. Every single drive, dude. They were okay when Dallas came down the field. They were on the 1. It was 4th down. Dak went for the touchdown, and he was ruled short, and it was turnover on downs. Right. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They ran 3 straight plays where they threw the ball on the 1.
Yep.
The first one was a terrible throw to Ertz off his hands. Maybe he should have caught it, but it was an awful throw. Why are they throwing the ball? The second play, the same thing, throwing the ball. 3rd down, they throw the ball, and he almost gets sacked for a safety. Like, why are we not running the ball?
Right. No,
on
exactly.
obvious run plays, like obvious run situations.
Yep.
It's infuriating, and
Yeah.
I honestly, I think it comes from the weasel upstairs. I really do. It's got to be. And if you like the argument could be, well, if you're Sirianni, or even if you were Doug Peterson, no, you should stand up and say, no, this is my offense. Like, I want to run it the way I want to. But it's a lot easier to say that when we're not the coaches. You know what I mean? They're still fighting for a job too. So like,
right.
but I just think that Howie has to get away from doing anything that has to involve call playing, and anything that has anything outside to do with the actual plays, because
Right.
obviously he has to be doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see how that's not how a franchise should be run. And we always make fun of like Jerry Jones for being that type of owner where he's constantly meddling into his personnel and the decisions. But he's actually backed off really within the last couple of years, and they're actually running a competent franchise, and we're over here in shambles because Jeffrey Lurie just calls all the shots and that's it.
And that's another thing is Jeffrey Lurie's got to stop calling all the shots.
Right.
He's got to go back to the Andy Reid era where just let the people who know what they're doing do their job.
Right.
And you stay up there and you make your money and you do your job.
And if Sirianni does it his way and is a bad coach and it doesn't work, okay, find the next guy. Like,
right.
At least let's see if it's Sirianni or not. Like, again, he's 3 games into his head coaching career. He can get better. Maybe he does get better. I don't know. I just the Falcons game I almost want to throw out there because the Falcons are really bad. Their offense hasn't even gotten going yet. They scored like 17 points against the Giants. Like, their offense hasn't been good, so I almost want to throw that game out the window.
Right.
But really the last 2 games, the play calling and the really just the scheme in general going into the game just hasn't been right.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like Jalen Hurts, we've talked about it on the show the last couple weeks. Like, he obviously doesn't have a big arm. The week 1 they succeeded so much in the short passing game, right?
Right.
Week 2 and week 3, the other Dallas and San Francisco stopped the short running, the short throws and those kinds of things. And they forced him to throw the ball down the field, and he can't do that.
Right.
So like, if you're successful week 1 with throwing short yardage passes, then like you can't go week by week playing successfully like that. You can't. It's not how it works. You have to change things up.
Right. And like you say, he just doesn't have a good arm, and I'll bring it up here. The first interception. Now, luckily the defense bailed him out, afterwards. But I mean, this throw is it's bad. I mean, we can watch it here for anybody that's watching. I mean, that's underthrown by 5, 6, 7 yards.
It's brutal. If you go back to the snap and so you'll see right here, right? He snaps. He's looking one way. He doesn't even look the other way for a split second before he throws. How does he not know that there's not 10 guys over there covering Rager?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You see him look one way to the field, and his head isn't even turned to the other side before he's throwing the ball.
And then honestly, even the guy that doesn't catch the ball in 18, I forget his name, he might even pick that off if that ball's a little further.
Right.
There's two guys.
It's got to be a perfect throw to the pylon on the sideline.
Right.
And that's the thing. And my thing with Hurts is he doesn't have a strong arm, but he also, I feel like he waits too long too. Like, if you wait too long, you have to have a good enough arm to make up for that. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't have that. So like, if you wait a split second too long, guys like Carson Wentz, and I know his issues and everything like that, but guys like Carson Wentz and even Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes have the big arm. Kyler Murray have the big arm where they can get that ball in the right spot, even if they're a split second late.
Yep.
He doesn't have that. So like, and that's the thing I think I said on the show too, the last couple weeks. Like, he'll make one great throw and then he'll make 10 terrible throws.
Right.
And it should be the other way around. Where like you make 10 great throws and okay, you make 1, 2, 3 bad throws a game. Great, fine. Every quarterback does that. But I think he flat out fucking stinks.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say he flat out stinks. And I've said it since last year. I've said I said it coming into this year that I was hopeful that he was gonna be better, and I was hopeful that that I was wrong and I was on board with it. But he flat out stinks. And
I want to get your opinion. I want to get your opinion on the pick six. because a lot of people are saying this is on Devontae Smith. I personally think this is another dreadful throw, and even if Smith doesn't fall down, I still think that ball gets intercepted.
Whether I completely agree that I think it gets intercepted. I don't know if it's a pick six. But
Maybe Smith tackles him right away, but...
or their legs, tangle up or something. Where it's just another really terrible throw. Like you said, it's not like I said it last week. Or he doesn't throw in the middle of the field, right? Because he's terrified to turn the ball over, and he can't throw in the middle of the field. But he's just as bad on the edge. Like, he can't throw the ball. So where's he going to throw the ball?
I actually thought the middle of the field, like, didn't they start that drive with a really nice Goddard play? The very first drive.
Yeah.
He really just got to play down the middle. Goddard.
Wasn't that drive?
I think it was the very first. Yeah, I think it was the very first drive that led to the interception, I believe. Unless it was the second drive. Yeah.
No. I think they went 3 and out the first couple. That was, like, later in the game. I think the Goddard catch for the first down
led
was
to
that drive.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, yeah. Yeah,
because
and
the play before that was the terrible throw to Goddard in the middle of the field.
Right.
I think it was the exact play before that.
Yeah.
And he had a touchdown possibly, or a 40-yard gain, 30-yard gain, whatever it would have been. It was all green and a blocker.
Right.
So I mean, if you can't, and maybe it hit off his hands, and maybe he should have caught it, but you can't expect the tight end to do that, and. I mean, if you can't hit moving targets, how are you in this league?
Right.
How are you in this league?
Yeah, and we're going to learn. I mean, again, he's what, now 6, 7, 8 games into his NFL career, Jalen Hurts.
Right.
He can get better. Like, that's the thing, he can. I don't know how much. I think he get better with reads and knowing where he's got to throw the football and things like that, footwork, but whatever. I still don't know if his arm is going to be good enough to be an NFL quarterback. I just don't think he has the arm strength.
I don't think he's got the arm strength or the accuracy.
Right.
And like you said, you might be able to teach that, but like the accuracy part. But like I don't see it. I don't. I haven't seen it. I didn't see it at Alabama. I didn't see it at Oklahoma, and I don't see it with the Eagles. I really don't.
Right.
Like I said, he makes one great throw, 2 great throws, and then he makes 10 dreadful throws.
Yep.
So like, I just don't. I don't see it. I don't.
Now let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Because they couldn't stop the run to save their goddamn life last night. It was bad. You talking about Zeke?
Yes.
Pollard looked pretty damn good, too.
I'm just saying. They made Zeke look like it was 2015 again.
Right.
I mean, he's cooked, in my opinion.
Yeah, but every time they play him, I mean, he makes him look good. Dom, do we lose you?
I think we're.
Uh-oh.
Lost connection.
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay. Yeah. So, I forgot I was Zeke. So, I think he's totally cooked. I think once he got paid, he was done.
Right.
But it's just obviously he just crushes the Eagles every single time, no matter
every time.
whether he's.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Pollard's a really good running back, and I'll say it. I think Dak is a good quarterback too. I really do. I always said it. Even with the injuries, so.
Yep.
I mean, I just can't stand Zeke.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely understand.
And this Diggs kid, he might be a top 5 cornerback in the league. He's really, really good. And it sucks to say that, but
he is good. I still don't love the Cowboys defense personally.
Well, no, I'm just talking about him specifically. I think he's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Baby Diggs, they call him.
Right. No, he was good, but back to the defensive side of the ball with the Eagles, like they couldn't stop the run. Is Brandon? I know Brandon Graham's great, obviously, but is he that big of a loss where they should look this bad?
I think in the running game, yes.
Especially, I mean, the Eagles or the Cowboys' offensive line was banged up too. They had who was their lineman that got popped for PEDs, but like then he tried to bribe somebody with a piss test or something, right?
Yeah, Collins.
The whole story
Collins.
was nuts.
Yeah.
How's he only getting suspended for like 4 or 5 games for bribery? That should be like a year worth suspension.
Yeah. But going back to Brandon Graham, I mean, I think it's a big loss in the sense that he is great against the run.
Right.
Josh Sweat, it's not something he's great at. He's more of a pass rusher.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't be that much of a loss, but it is. I mean, Brandon Graham is Brandon Graham. His leadership he does everything, whether it's against the run or pass rushing. And Josh Sweat, I mean, like I said, he there's a reason he played, 70-something or 60-something snaps, I think it was. He's only out there on throwing downs. So,
right.
He's got to be the one to step it up a little bit, too.
Yep.
And him and Derek I can't stand Derek Barnett.
And it seems like the coaching staff's getting a little frustrated, too.
The offsides call that he was offsides by 40 yards. I don't know if you saw, after they threw the flag, they put the camera on him, and he put up his hand like, "Oh, my bad, guys." Yeah, dude, no fucking shit. Like,
right.
You were literally offsides by like 6 yards.
I just saw a clip today. I think it was a personal foul penalty Barnett took again. And they panned to Sirianni, and you just can read his lips, and he said, "It's always him."
Yeah. No,
he literally screams, "It's always him."
Yeah.
Like, the coaching staff is getting frustrated with him, too.
But that's the thing, is you have nobody else to put there.
Nobody.
Like, you have nobody else to put there. And, like, I understand, like, this is a learning year. What is Jalen Hurts? What is Nick Sirianni? What is this defense? This defense is old. But, man, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long year. And I kind of want to go back to Jalen Hurts for a sec, too. Now, there are a lot of rumors about 2 superstar quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks, that could be available at the end of the year. Now, I want to get your opinion. Would you look that way, or would you look to draft? Because I have 2 guys that I want to keep an eye on this year. And I think you and I should try to, not watch every single game of these 2 guys in college. So there's 2 guys in the NFL and 2 guys in college. The 2 guys in college, I really want us to, like I said, we don't have to watch every game, but, like, every time keep track of them. Yeah, right, exactly. And really keep track of them, not just watch their highlights and say, "Oh, he's great," because I do that every year for the draft.
Right.
I go into the draft when the draft process starts. I'll see the guys the Eagles are interested in, or supposedly interested in, or interviewing, or pre-draft interviewing, and I'll watch their highlights. Right. And of course, all of their highlights are going to be great. But I really want to watch these 2 specific guys this year.
Who? First of all, let's go to the NFL quarterbacks. What veterans are you talking about? Is like Rodgers one?
Rodgers is one.
Wilson
and
the other.
Russell Wilson's the other one.
Yeah. Okay.
So my thing with these 2 guys, obviously, I wouldn't want Rodgers. I think Rodgers is maybe the 10th or top 15 quarterback of all time. I love Rodgers. Rodgers is probably my favorite quarterback ever. I just think he's the most athletic quarterback ever.
The thing that scares me about Rodgers at this point in his career, I think he has 1 foot out the door. Like, I think...
In what sense?
At any moment, I think he's just ready to step away from the game. Like, if you sign him, he might be gone in a year.
That's possible. I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I mean, he's a little bit older than Russell Wilson, so like I said, so that does make it possible. But I really think he's still got another 3 or 4 years left, of Aaron Rodgers at least. Right. Because I mean, I'm just reading the comments. No and no.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson intrigues me in the sense of, like, I think he's everything we want and hope Jalen Hurts to eventually be. I think their play style is very similar.
Yeah.
I don't see him ever getting to that point, Hurts, getting to that Wilson point. But, I mean, that's a little intriguing, but...
So here's the thing. Okay, so I don't want Rodgers. Like, I'm not saying I want Rodgers. I completely disagree that he doesn't want to play anymore. I think he definitely wants to play. I just... Okay, so he doesn't want to play for the Packers. Wasn't he frustrated? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah. Right, he doesn't want to play for the Packers. No, but
yeah, he wants out.
Right. But I don't think that means he wants out of football. I just think he wants to go somewhere where he can trust somebody, and that's why it's another reason I don't want him here, because he wants to trust a GM to bring in the talent, and like obviously that hasn't happened in fucking forever.
At least he's tried. Like the Packers have slapped him in the face in a sense of like drafting one offensive player in the last decade,
12 years or whatever,
and that one guy was his eventual replacement, or supposed to be his replacement in a quarterback.
And like I'm not saying I want Rodgers. I'm just saying that's one of the 2 guys that are out there as possible. Guys to target or guys that are looking for a new home. The Russell Wilson thing is more interesting only because I think Russell Wilson has everything there is to be a great quarterback, But the last 2 or 3 years, like the second half of the season, he just falls off like completely.
Last year through the first like 11, 12 weeks, he was the clear-cut MVP.
I wouldn't say 11, 12. I would say like the 8 weeks, first like 7 or 8 weeks,
maybe
and then
a little further than I'm thinking, but
yeah,
a little
and then
sooner than I'm thinking.
He totally fell off. Like,
yep.
But he's a little bit younger too, so
Right.
like he's 33, so like he's not 38 like Rodgers. So, but my only problem with bringing either of those two guys in is that means the Eagles think they're closer to winning than they look, and I don't think they're anywhere near close to winning anything. So
I agree with that.
So you're gonna and I don't think Wilson is really gonna be that expensive either. I think you can give up a 3rd round pick, and maybe you get back like a 7th round pick or something with Wilson. So I'm not saying I want Wilson either. I'm just saying those are two guys that well, that's what I'm saying. So the Eagles won't put the talent around. That's exactly what
Right.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think Howie can't build a team. I mean,
Right.
we've seen that the last couple of years, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, so those are the two guys that I was just curious about what you thought about those two guys.
Yeah,
I'd be
I'm
happy
intrigued with Wilson. Yeah, I'm more intrigued by him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said,
it's
Rodgers
pretty
is my
curious.
favorite quarterback ever, and like, I wouldn't. I'd rather give up more for a younger quarterback, even though he's not young. But yeah, I mean, but like I said, there's two guys in college football.
I was
I'm
about to
looking
ask
at.
you about them. Yep. Who are those two you're talking about?
And as of right now, so every week I look at mock drafts for the draft coming up next year, the 2022 draft,
Yep.
just to get a feel of what experts, and I say that with quotations,
Right.
because they're wrong every year. But,
Every year. Yep.
so the two guys, the quarterback from Nevada, Carson Strong.
We're gonna go with another Carson, huh?
Yeah. Everything I see about him, like, and again, it's only been highlights and things that these experts say with he's got a strong arm, he's got an NFL ready arm, this, that, and the other. That's one guy I'd look at. I believe. Do you know is Nevada in the Pac-12?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so I don't love Pac-12 players, but he's one guy I'd look at, and then the other guy is from Ole Miss, Matt Carroll or Matt Corral, but he's got a test this weekend. He's got Alabama at Alabama, so if there's any game to watch, it's that one of him.
When was that? Is that this weekend?
Yeah, it's this weekend. Yep, they both teams. Nevada, I think, plays Boise State at 3:30.
Nevada's in the Mountain West Conference.
Okay, all right.
So.
So Nevada plays Boise State, I believe, at 3:30 on Saturday, and Alabama plays Ole Miss at Alabama at 3:30 as well. So
Okay.
definitely two games to watch
Check
at the
those
same
games
time.
out. Absolutely.
Yeah. The other guys, I am not intrigued at all by.
Isn't this amazing though that we just finished up Game 3 and we're talking about quarterbacks
I'm
in
done
the
with
next
Hurts.
draft?
No, I'm done with Hurts. Yeah, no, I'm shipping him out immediately. See, this is why I said they got Gardner Minshew, is because they know that Hurts isn't the answer. So
Right.
you go out, you get a quarterback you have for the next couple years. Next year, whether you bring Hurts back or not, which they probably will because they fucking love drama, but if you bring Hurts back next year, I mean, I'm sorry, if you don't bring him back next year, you have Gardner Minshew to be that plug-in guy.
Until the rookie's ready.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
So I really think that's the whole grand scheme of it all.
Yeah, it could be.
The whole plan.
I could see that.
The blueprint.
The blueprint.
I see right through you, Howie. See, I could do his job.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't trade for
Exactly.
Wilson or Rodgers. So,
Yeah, but rookie quarterbacks always scare me. I mean, obviously every quarterback gets drafted, not every, but like you got to start somewhere, and but it's
Right.
I don't know. You see all these rookie quarterbacks now, and maybe some of them will be great, but they all look fucking terrible.
well, and it's that on top of the whole process having to start over. Like taking in another young quarterback for the third straight time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Carson Wentz, we had to wait a year or two for him to, or after his rookie year, a year to finally be this great quarterback that he was in 2017. And then Jalen Hurts, like, we have to wait. And now this other, because rookie quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. So,
No.
like, it's another waiting game. And there's only been 3 quarterbacks, I think, in the last 20 years that have won a Super Bowl in their second year. So, and that's Brady, technically Carson Wentz, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl, he's got a Super Bowl technically, and Russell Wilson.
Right.
So
And I see this comment, Flacco. If I have to see Joe Flacco play for the Philadelphia Eagles, I will not watch. I'm not watching Joe Flacco.
No,
play
I'll
for
shut it
this
right
team.
off. I'll shut it right off.
I'll watch Red Zone instead. I'm not watching a Joe Flacco-led Philadelphia Eagles team.
No,
I'm
I
not
wouldn't even
doing
turn Red Zone on either because then they would show highlights of Flacco getting pick sixed off of. So,
it. Right.
and I don't know if Minshew's ready, like with the playbook.
He's probably not. No.
So
How many years does Hurts have on his contract? So rookie contracts are what, 4 years, and he's
4
played.
years.
This is his second year, so he's got 2
Correct.
after this. Yeah.
Yes. So the way the NFL works is if you're a first round, so he wasn't a first round pick, he was a second round pick. The way the NFL works is if you're a first round pick, you can get a 5th year option. Your team has a 5th year option on you, so you get an extra year. But because he's not a first round pick, he's a second round pick. It's only 4 years, so it's
Right.
not 4 plus 1. It's just 4.
Yeah, but I think the 5th year option is like the top 15 of your position or something like that. It's
Right.
You get a raise in that 5th year. I forget how
Right.
much though.
Yeah, it's like, or is it like that? Because Nelson Aguilar had the 5th year option.
Did he?
He was nowhere near close as top 15.
No, maybe not. Maybe not 15, but I know you get a pay increase in the 5th year.
Right.
I don't know how much it is, but it's an increase.
On top of the 5th year option, you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just for that 5th year, it's almost like a glorified franchise tag, I think.
Right.
Like
right.
you get an
Or
increase in that
bonus.
5th year.
Yeah.
Or, something like that.
a bonus. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So every first round pick gets that 5th year option. It's just a matter of if you're top whatever in the league at your position, you get X amount of extra dollars. Right.
Now,
okay.
before we move on to the terrible Phillies, because apparently that's the theme of the show is terribleness. Before we move on to that, did you have any sort of takeaway or like anything that happened that you liked to see in this game? Like, did you come out of that game thinking any positives at all?
Javon Hargrave.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's a beast. I was saying it yesterday to the person I was watching the game with. At the start of last year, I think he was hurt in training camp for a little while, so he started off slow. It's a new playbook, a new area.
Yeah, he broke his like foot or something. I forget what happened. Yeah,
COVID, a weird, very weird year. Very like little training camp, no preseason. So like, he really didn't get much reps in the beginning. So when week 1 came, week 2, week 3, he was very slow. And then at the second half of the season, he really brought it. Like by like week 6 or 7, he started becoming that player that we went out and signed, like that we wanted. And now this year, he's been everything we've hoped. I mean, at least I think. I mean, I think he's had a strong 3 weeks. I do.
Right. Yeah, the only real takeaway I took, like, or positive that I took out of it, also came from the defensive side of the ball. And when he scored 41 points, it's hard to have any sort of positives. But in what his role is supposed to be prior to the season, like I thought Marcus Epps looked great.
He had a couple big hits.
Yeah. I thought he looked great. He a couple, like you said, the hit up the middle against the tight end. I forget which one of their white tight ends.
Schultz, I think it was.
Yeah, was it Schultz?
Yeah.
It's either Schultz or who's the other guy that looks just
Jarwin?
like Schultz. Yeah, they're the same guy. I'm convinced they're the same guy, different jersey.
Right. He just
right.
changes the jersey when he goes off the sideline.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he had a good hit on him to get the ball loose, and then he had a couple like others. I thought he brought energy, and I thought he actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
For a defense that gave up 41 points. So
Right.
that's really the only positive I had.
And that's and I don't want to keep going back to negatives, but that's the thing with this team is like, especially with Howie, it's like you can't just throw no-name linebackers out there. You can't just throw no-name safeties out there. Like,
Right.
And they're so thin at safety too in the secondary. Like, why was McLeod active yesterday?
No, he was
He
not.
was activated, wasn't he?
No, I thought he was hurt. I thought he was still hurt.
Okay.
I
thought
think
he
he's
was
still down.
activated.
No, I don't
Okay.
believe so.
I was gonna say I thought he was activated, and why is he activated if he's not gonna play? But I guess I was wrong about that. But,
Yeah, I don't think he was activated. I think he was still down.
And then Kavon Wallace goes down.
Don from Drunk on Broad. What about Fletcher's cock?
What about Fletcher's cock? I think Fletcher's cock.
I think that's what he was trying to say.
Right. I actually think Fletcher has been very quiet this year. I haven't seen anything.
He hasn't been great.
No, I think even if you go back to week 1, and I think we said on the show that we thought he had a good game, and I went back and watched it. I'm guilty of saying that he had a good game week 1. I went back and watched it. He was barely getting double teamed.
Right. Exactly.
He was barely getting double teamed, and he was getting smacked around. Like,
no pun intended.
Yeah. Smack around the cock. Sorry, I had to say it.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he's been super quiet this year. I really do. I mean, other than the touchdown he had yesterday that was given to him,
Right.
you know, I think he's been super quiet.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't just throw these no-name linebackers and expect to be good. You can't.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But what have you seen out of Steven Nelson?
Well, I feel like the first 2 weeks we kind of really haven't heard his name much.
We really haven't, which
thing.
can be a good thing.
Right. But I mean, last night's game, I think the whole secondary, obviously besides the big hit Epps had, I think the whole secondary was terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Toast. Absolute toast.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, you almost expect that from a Cowboys team that can put up points. Like, they have weapons all over the field.
Right.
So
I just don't understand, if it's 3rd and short, why are we playing 30 yards off the receiver? Like,
right, when they only have to get 3 yards.
They did that. Yeah, they did that all game last night. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's me. They know X's and O's better than I do, so maybe it's just me.
Clearly.
But
anyway, we've talked about the Eagles way longer than I expected us to. So let's move on. Let's do the against the spread picks. So last week you went 1-4, not very good.
No.
I went 2-3. So what does that bring our records to? So I'm 5-10 on the year. You're 8-7.
All right, I'm still over 500.
There you go. So do you want to go first here, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first since you had a better week than I did.
All right, so we didn't really talk about it much, but I'll just say it here, I guess, about the Eagles playing the Chiefs next week. I got the Chiefs -7.5. I think this is going to be a fucking blowout.
Especially because they lost their last 2.
They lost 2 in a row. I don't see that team winning or losing 3 straight. I think the Eagles get the doors blown off.
Okay, I like it. So unfortunately, this week I was not prepared. So I don't have my piece of paper ready to go. My crinkle.
You
so
ditched
reading...
our third co-host just like that. He was our co-host for like
he'll be back
5
next
minutes.
week.
He'll be back
next week.
He's on a sabbatical.
Yeah. So he's on paid vacation. So the first one
to answer Don's question, when is the next game the Eagles win? Week 7, 8.
So who they play? They play Carolina next. That's possible. I think.
It's possible. It's not likely.
Lose. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then they play Tampa Bay.
It's a loss.
And then who do they play after that?
Then they play Oakland. I believe.
Jesus Christ.
And then I forget who
Denver?
they play the week after Oakland. Miami. Is it Denver?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, all right. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So
we'll
my first game, like I said, I did this very, very, very last minute. For shits and giggles, I'm going to take the Bills -16.5 against the Texans.
That's a nutty line. I was about to take the Texans +16.5.
Right. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, it's just for fun. Why not? -16.5.
That's a gigantic line.
Yeah, it is huge.
All right, so I got the Washington.
That's over 2 scores. That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy to be over 1 score. Like,
it'll probably. It'll probably happen because the Bills are great and the Houston Texans stink. So I mean, it could happen, but it's just a lot of points to be given up. And then I have the Washington football team -1.5 against the Atlanta Falcons.
I looked at that. I like that. I thought about taking that. But I decided not to. That's a good one. I like that one.
The Falcons stink, and for some reason, with all the weapons they have, they can't put any offense.
Well, their offensive line sucks.
Yeah, and Flacco's probably not the same Flacco. Or not Flacco. Jesus Christ, Ryan's not the same.
Well, Flacco's definitely not the same Flacco he was either.
Well, that's true. So, but Matt Ryan also isn't the same guy he was, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right. So my next game, I have the Cardinals +4.5 to the Rams. I think if anybody's smart out there, they will always. This has nothing to do with the spread, but if anybody's smart out there, always take the Cardinals overs because they will put up 100 points and they'll give up 100 points.
Right.
So always take the overs every week. I don't care what it is. But yeah, I mean the spread I have is Cardinals.
No, I do not want Flacco. Anyway, so I have my next game is the Broncos -1 to the Baltimore Ravens.
I looked at that one too.
I think the Ravens stink, and
So
I'm really pissed off that Justin Tucker hit that 66-yard field goal because I wanted to see them lose to the Lions.
Me too, because I had them. I had the Lions with the points.
True,
+8.5
you
or
did,
8,
right.
whatever it was.
Right.
I mean, they still covered, but it would have been a lot of fun. What I'll say about the Detroit Lions is they are in every game. Maybe not the Green Bay game, but they were in it for a while.
They were
first 3 weeks,
at halftime. I think they were up or tied. They were close at halftime.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they obviously they got the doors blown off them in the first half against San Francisco, but they came back. They've been in every game in the fourth quarter. So they're going to lose every game probably this year.
Right.
Or at least they're not going to win over 3. But I will say they have a lot of fight.
The only thing that scares me about the Ravens-Broncos line, and I have the Broncos there, is the Broncos are like 3-0 now, and I don't think they're very good, so that they're bound to have a letdown game eventually.
Yeah. Did you see who they played?
Who have they played?
Both New York teams and Miami. No,
Carolina maybe.
No,
because Carolina's 3-0 too.
The first 3 teams they played are 0-3. Jacksonville.
Oh.
Yeah, so
All
they're
right,
all
okay.
0-9.
You know what?
All
I don't
their
like that
opponents
line
are
now.
0-9.
I don't like it.
What do you mean?
I don't like that game now that I picked it. Yeah, Denver's 3-0. Their opponents are 0-9.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So wait, why you took Denver, right?
I did take Denver, but now and then I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I'm backpedaling a little bit, but it's fine. I'll take them. It's fine.
Okay.
So what's your next pick?
I'm gonna go Ginger Jesus here. The Colts plus 2.5 against the Dolphins. Carson gets the first win of the year. For the Colts
Jesus
this year.
Christ.
He does. He gets it.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. The Dolphins are an absolute mess right now.
Yeah. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Quarterback problems. A lot going on there. Yeah. So I got the Colts plus 2.5.
Yeah. Right. All right, and then we get 2 over-unders. I'll do the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom Brady visiting his old team, New England Patriots. I'm gonna go over 49.5 because I just think he's gonna throw for like 7 touchdowns. He's gonna be pissed off. He's gonna be great.
I took the exact same thing, so I'm with you. I need Gronk to have a big game. I need Evans to have a big game for fantasy purposes.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping for touchdowns and touchdowns and touchdowns.
Many of touchdowns.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna do the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills over 48 because Buffalo can put up a shit. Buffalo against Houston might put up 48 by themselves.
Right. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Raiders Chargers over 52.5. So I'm going 2 overs. So I think that could be a shootout.
Raiders Chargers. What would you say? That was 52.5.
Over 52.5.
All right, I'll have to write that down. There you go. All right, so those are our picks of the week.
So
go ahead.
So I just wanted to do something real quick. We talked about it a little bit over text message before the start of the show the last couple of days. I want to kind of go through every week with the Carson snaps.
Okay.
His snap count. I'm trying to find it. That's why I'm a little like out of the loop right now.
It's fine. I mean, obviously, because if he plays, 75% of the snaps,
70 in the regular season, 75 for the playoffs.
Okay,
I
then
believe.
that second round goes to a first round pick. I don't see it happening because he's just gonna miss time. Like that's just what's gonna happen. I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
Right.
with the early season injury, and then week 2 he gets injured. Like he's just gonna keep getting hurt. Did you find it yet?
No, I haven't. I'm trying to find the text message you sent me, the link, but I can't find it.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. I think I don't know if it'll happen. But I let's say hypothetically that it doesn't happen. Let's say he gets hurt.
He's played 17% of the expected snaps so far.
70, right?
70? He's played 17 so far.
No, I'm saying of 70.
Right.
17 of 70?
No,
like 17% of 70%.
17% of what they're expected to have. So the first week he played 100%. Week 2 he played 93%. Week 3 he played 100%. And then on the season he's played 98% of the snaps.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was 17, which we were trying to get to 70. Okay,
right.
Never mind. Yeah, I'm dumb. But like I was saying, even if he gets hurt or it's probably gonna be a top 10 pick or top 15 pick. Are we really that upset if it's a second round pick? And obviously I would love the first round pick, but like
I don't think there's any way it's a first round pick because like they're 0-3 right now. If they get to 1-7, 1-8, 1-9, whatever their record might be, there's no reason Frank Reich should play him in that scenario. Like keep your top 5 pick.
Though?
So this way they can keep their pick and get a top 5 pick.
Because I don't think he's the reason. I've watched the Colts this year. I don't think he's the reason at all for why they stink.
Who, Wentz?
Yeah, at all.
No, I agree. He's not, maybe he's not the sole reason. I don't think he's good, but maybe he's not the sole reason they stink. But if you're again 1-7, why the hell would you play your quarterback when that quarterback is specifically going to keep your first round pick?
It makes sense.
Right, it makes no sense to play him in that spot.
No, what you're saying definitely makes sense. It's just
even if it's not his fault, it just makes no sense to play him.
Right. No, I'm just saying. I've watched the Colts this year. Like their defense sucks.
Right.
Their offensive line sucks, and he hasn't been great. I'm not saying that. I mean, he's still doing those things where you're like, why are you trying to make a play? Like, just take the sack or like just throw the ball away. I mean, he's still doing those things. It's just, to me, he's not the reason why they're 0-3. Like, it's just they don't run the ball. They're like I said, their defense sucks. Their offensive line sucks. It's their receivers, other than Pittman, and he hasn't been great this year. He's been good. He has nobody to throw the ball to. I mean, what's his face? Was it Pascal?
Yeah.
He's been good. He was good the first 2 weeks, but there's just no play. I mean, if you go look at Colts Twitter, even or Colts fans or whatever, even the beat writers are saying the same thing. It's like these guys aren't making plays for him. It's just it's the same thing that's happening here, and maybe it is him. I don't know, but I know that it's not his play. It's not. It could be off the field issues that they don't like him. That's translating to the field, but he's making the throws. He is. I mean, it's as simple as it is. I mean, it's a fact. So,
all right.
I'm just hoping they can win some game. Kind of like the perfect scenario would probably be 9-8, 9-8 year where he plays the whole year. So, that way we get a first round pick. That way, if he plays the 70% of the snaps, and it's a top 15 pick, top 20 pick. So, that's a perfect world. Yeah, but we don't live in that world. So
no, we do not. And listen, if it is a first round pick, Howie's gonna fuck it up anyway.
Right.
So.
Right now they're projected to get 3 top 10 picks.
Who's the other? Miami? And they're a train wreck right now too. Yeah. So that could be another high pick.
Yep.
But again,
right now projected 3 top 10 picks.
Howie will fuck them all up.
Yep.
So
he'll trade all 3.
Let's
trade 2 of them.
Right. Let's move from one disaster to another and talk about the Phillies, who are currently down 2-0 in the most crucial series of their season. The Atlanta Braves. They're 2.5 games back. Again, 2-0. They're going into the top of the 9th inning. So if they lose this game, they'll be 3.5 back with 2 games to go against Atlanta, and then I think 3 with Miami. They're done.
Miami, yep.
They're done.
Looks like it.
Especially if they lose tonight.
I mean, it's like you said, 2 more after tonight with Atlanta, 3 more against Miami. We're in the playoffs now. Like the playoffs have started. Like, obviously we're not technically in the playoffs, but for the Phillies, we're in the playoffs. Like, these are must-win games, and when they're must-win games, it's the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, I think we could stick a fork in them, but we'll see. They've come back a couple times in the 9th inning this year, so.
Especially losing in a start from Zach Wheeler, pitched a good game, 2 innings. Let me see stat line. Because I mean he's okay. So 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. I mean it's a good outing that you just didn't give him any run support.
Right.
And then you have Nola tomorrow night, and Nola's been terrible. So their season's done.
And then Thursday they're still going with Kyle Gibson when Ranger Suarez just
has been lights out.
He just pitched a 9 inning shutout.
Yep.
I don't know how he's on the 5 days rest. Move him up. This is we need to win these games. Put your best possible pitcher in to win the game. I don't understand.
I mean,
we owe nothing to Kyle Gibson. Nothing.
Right,
nothing at all. Nothing at all. So why is he pitching?
And they're in the thick of a playoff race, and they're still having bullpen games for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I don't think that happens this week. I think
it happened like 3 days ago.
No, I'm saying this week though. I think because that's why Ranger Suarez is starting Friday.
The first game in Miami.
Right. I think that's why, because I think I mean, the only logical thing I can think of is they're going to move Wheeler up and Nola up. So I mean,
I don't think it's
really
going to matter at
Nola?
that point.
No, it might not, but I don't know. You owe nothing to Kyle Gibson.
Nope.
Ranger Suarez. I don't care if the Atlanta Braves put out 9 right-handed bats. you put Ranger Suarez just pitched a nine inning shutout game,
Right.
4-hit game.
And it's
He
the
is
most
your best pitcher right now.
Oh, he really is your best pitcher the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And you have the biggest game of your season, or the biggest series of your season.
It's
Pitch your
the
three
playoffs.
best guys. Which I'm
It's
not even sure
essentially
Nola
the
is your
playoffs.
third best. Like, who do you think are the three best pitchers of this rotation right now? I mean, again, Suarez has been red hot, so I think I put him 1, Wheeler 2. Is it Gibson or Nola 3? Because they both have not been good over the last month or so.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to answer that question.
Right.
I might throw up in my mouth.
they both have not been good.
Yeah, so and that's the thing. I think it stings more because Gibson's not really like supposed to be that good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it just stings with Nola. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's. I think we could stick a fork in him. I really
Yeah,
do. But
I
that's the
agree.
thing is, I think I thought they were going to win 2 or 3 against Atlanta, and then our hearts were going to be crushed.
In a
This
series
weekend.
against Miami,
Yeah.
where you should win 2 or 3 easily, and they would have got swept or something.
If it was home against Miami, they might have had a shot, but they can't go to Miami. It's a cesspool of like negativity when they go there. They
Yep.
just can't win in Miami.
No, they cannot.
So, I mean, I'm just looking forward to a full off season of Phillies
Yeah.
with
Exactly.
Dombrowski. So that was sarcasm, by the way.
Right. Sorry, I'm sorry if I was a little distracted. I'm watching the Phillies right now.
Okay.
1 out. I thought JT was about to hit a gapper, but
But one of the outfielders they probably traded for at the trade deadline because they had 3
Yep.
hurt outfielders and they did what
'Cause
any
that's what good teams
competent
do.
Fucking team does.
Yep.
And goes out and gets and replaces their players. Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Yep.
So they went out and got an MVP candidate in Adam Duvall. What did the Phillies do? They went out and got Ian fucking Kennedy.
Ian Kennedy and Kyle Gibson.
I mean, at least Kyle Gibson was like.
He gave you
somewhat-
something. He
yeah,
gave you
like,
something. Yeah. He's
Ian
tailed off,
Kennedy
but he
has
gave you
been
something
terrible.
originally.
Ian
Yeah,
Kennedy's
Kennedy
been
hasn't been
terrible.
good. Yeah.
And that's the thing is
So.
like bullpen guys are not that expensive at the deadline.
No.
Really
No, they aren't.
not. So
Yeah. What did Kimbrel move for? He wasn't that much, was he?
I don't think so. I think it was like
Yeah.
a seventh best prospect.
Right. Which
So, like-
which would probably be the Phillies' top prospect. So
Right. True.
you know.
Yep.
All right, I don't really want to talk about the Phillies anymore. Well, when this game ends, I'll let you know. But
Okay.
What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Ben Simmons? Because I really don't feel like it.
What kind of questions do you want to talk about Ben Simmons? Because I don't.
I'm just saying, if we don't have to. If you want to, we can. Yeah, fuck it. What's the latest with Ben Simmons? That's a loaded question, probably.
yeah, because there's so much going on. Yeah, he didn't report for the first day of training camp for media day. Joel Embiid had a lot to say about him. Basically, and again, like I do all the time, I'm paraphrasing here. They basically asked him, "What would you have said?" So what happened was Joel Embiid, Danny Green, Tobias, I think it was Thibault and somebody else. They were may not have been Danny Green, but I think it was those 3 guys: Thibault, Joel, and Tobias were getting ready to get on a jet and go to LA to try to convince Ben to come play. And he basically told them not to come because whatever you say, I'm not coming. So basically, yesterday for media day, they asked Joel, what would you say to Ben? What were you going to say when you see him? And the first thing he said was that I'm really disappointed in him. And like, if that doesn't tell you that guy leads a basketball team, he
Absolutely.
is the captain of that basketball team, then I don't know what does. Like,
Yep.
if that doesn't show you that I have the biggest balls in this room, I was gonna go all the way to LA just to tell you that I was disappointed in you as a human, as a player. I mean, how much more could we love this guy?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he says all the right things. He's doing all the right things. And I am so not looking forward to this season right now. And he is the only thing that has me going. The only thing.
Right.
So,
do you think he gets traded, Simmons, or do you think they just kind of let him? They call his bluff.
truthfully,
It's
I
tough.
Really,
It's
I
tough.
Really don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
I hope, like I said last week or the week before, I hope that he doesn't show up and he just keeps getting fined, and they write a check out every couple weeks with all the money that he's been fined with, and they just send a check to Chop and throw it in his face. Children's Hospital. So I really don't know. I mean, I've seen things where, like, Denver was possibly interested, and I would have loved Michael Porter Jr. back, but he just signed a max extension. At what point, what are we getting? Like, I don't know what we're getting for him. So,
Right, the thing that I kind of feel is any Ben Simmons trade at this point, I think the players that you would like aren't available, and you're not going to get what you want. And I don't think a Ben Simmons trade necessarily is going to make the team better. So at this point, I would like you to let him sit out the remainder of his contract until the fucking end of it. I don't know.
So you're kind of an outside looking in almost in basketball. When you say you're not going to get what you want in return, what in terms of what? Like, what kind of players were you think? Like Damian Lillard?
Right, Lillard, Beal, those guys. You're not going to get those guys.
You're obviously not going to get those guys.
No.
But you could possibly still get C.J. McCollum.
Okay, then let me ask you this. Does C.J. McCollum make you a NBA champion contender? Instantly.
Better than what they are right now without Ben Simmons, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Because if the answer is no to that, then I think you just call his bluff and you let him sit at home for
it's
2 more years, 4 more years.
The Sixers might not think that. So I think that, but the Sixers might not think that, and maybe that's why they haven't done it. So C.J. McCollum, I would love De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento, like traditional point guard, a guy who can shoot, a guy who could drive the lane, plays solid defense. Like, would love De'Aaron Fox, but they're not trading De'Aaron Fox. So, like I said, Michael Porter Jr. I would love Michael Porter Jr., but he just signed a $200 million extension with Denver.
Right.
So, like, the next tier underneath the Lillards and Beals and Levines, those guys are starting to go. Like, these guys are starting to re-sign, and there's the chances of them coming here are getting slimmer and slimmer. So it's like, yeah, they're probably not going to trade him, honestly.
Update.
Uh-oh.
Phillies have one out, have the bases loaded.
Uh-oh. I might have to turn it on.
Oh! That ball's hit deep. Tagging up. All right, so it's 2-1 now. Two outs.
All right, I got to turn this shit on.
2 outs.
Dude,
running on first and third.
When you screamed, I stopped and looked at you because I thought it was a grand slam.
The ball got hit hard. It was to the track.
Yeah.
It was to the track.
Who hit it?
I think it was Didi.
Okay.
I believe.
How insane was it?
Oh, yeah, it was Didi. Yep, it was Didi. Yep.
How insane would it have been if he just hit a grand slam and we were just on board like that? Right back on board like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's been all year, though. They're out of it. They pull you back in. They're out of it. They pull you back in.
No, for sure.
But while we're ready, now fucking Galvis is up to bat, so this is probably game over. So anyway, while we're waiting for the Philly season to be over in this next at bat, you shared something on Twitter. Hurricane Schwartz from NBC 10.
Yes.
Talking about
My
Ben
guy.
Simmons. So just listen to this clip.
And unlike Ben Simmons, we got to show up today. And are,
Yes, he did
and
that.
are glad to work for our employers.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Wow.
What is wrong with that guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just do.
I was at that last game. He doesn't
Were
want to
you?
play in front of the Philadelphia fans. The Philadelphia fans really treated him great.
It's true.
We gave him
Given the
every
performance.
break, every encouragement. There wasn't booing. Wait till you come to Philly with another team. Then you'll get to see a Philly welcome.
That's phenomenal.
Wait till you come to Philly and you'll really get a Philly welcome. Glenn is unreal. I love Glenn. Glenn kills it. 2-0 count to Galvis, by the way.
Okay.
Oh my God, he almost got picked off.
So this is kind of what this is going to be, this show right now. Just us watching the Philly season come to an end.
Yes.
We don't. We're done talking about Ben Simmons. Can we move on to the Flyers a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't really care about Ben Simmons, and when it happens, and until then, there's no news.
Right. Did you watch any of the Flyers?
I watched the
Tonight?
first period. The first period.
3-0, by the way. 3-0
Okay.
count. Go ahead.
So I did.
Sorry.
So I did watch the first period. It's just hockey. I mean, it's playoff hockey. You know what I mean? And you know, it's comments like this.
Playoff hockey? Yeah, I think you mean preseason.
I'm sorry, preseason hockey. Yeah, but it's comments like this. I saw the figure skating and I got a little discombobulated. Hockey's the best sport there is, and I'm willing to die on that hill. Anyway,
I mean, you're definitely alone on that hill. I don't. I mean, I love it. It's probably my third favorite sport, but I hear you.
But
Hey, it's the sport you grew up playing. So.
Oh, right. It was listen. It was preseason hockey, so it wasn't that great. They only really had about half the lineup in, but it was just good to see hockey back. They start in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Galvis just hit a foul ball, and my heart just dropped. It was a ground ball down the third base line. It was just foul. Sorry, but go ahead.
Full count. But yeah, I mean, half the lineup played. They have their first game or their first regular season game in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We did announce, I think last week, that we're on a game-to-game basis. We're credentialed, so we're trying to get passes for that home opener. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we have news. You just jumped out of your seat.
No, it was another foul ball. It was a hard hit ball.
Relax, Dom. Calm down. Because even if they win this game, they're still probably not going to win the division.
I know.
So I need you to reel it back a little bit. All right, I need you to calm down.
If this run scores, you're gonna think that the fucking Phillies just won the World Series on my end.
Right, yeah. The Phillies are going to win the World Series by tying the game right here.
No, I'm saying the way I celebrate.
No, I know, but I'm saying the Phillies are going to win the World Series right here with by tying this run, and then they're going to lose in the 10th inning.
Right.
So
back to the Flyers.
Yeah, I don't really. I'm all discombobulated. I'm distracted. I got a lot of things going on right now. I got the Phillies here. I got you jumping up and down. I don't know what's going on right now. Last week, or I guess this week that just passed, they announced Kevin Hayes is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with abdominal surgery. I mean, with a year where you have such expectations for this team, I mean that's devastating. They lost.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Kevin Hayes.
Well, now I'm upset.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I knew this was going to happen, but now
right down the
I'm
middle,
upset.
Swing and miss.
Yeah, because Galvis isn't a fucking hitter.
But go ahead. I'm all Flyers in. I'm all Flyred up. Let's do it.
Flyed up. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, but Kevin Hayes, like you had such a what's the word I'm looking for? A high expectation for this team. Everybody was hyped about it, and like that's kind of the first news that happened is Kevin Hayes has abdominal surgery. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. He might miss 10 to 15 games. And with a team that already doesn't have a lot of center depth, this one hurts a little bit.
For sure, and you kind of hope guys like Morgan Frost step up in these next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, before it was Morgan Frost. Is Morgan Frost going to make the team? It's
right.
Almost certain now.
Right, and we talked about it last week or the week before how much he bulked up.
Yep.
I don't know how he's looked in training camp so far, but you're just kind of hoping on expectations again.
Right.
I think good thing it is only 6 to 8 weeks with Kevin Hayes because. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. It could be, 3 months. So
yeah, I mean, the thing that concerns me, and again, breaking news, I'm not a doctor. I'm not LeBron James, so I'm not a doctor. But the thing that concerns me about it is this is his second abdominal surgery this offseason.
Right.
So is this something that's going to come back? Is my really only concern.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he's a big part of this team. Even though he didn't have a great year last year, he's still a leader on this team. He's a great locker room guy. Super funny guy. I mean, he's gone through a lot this last couple weeks,
right?
With his surgery and the passing of his brother, and he's just kind of not. He's had a lot of bad luck at least recently. So, you kind of root for a guy like him.
Absolutely.
And he does help this team, even though he had a bad year last year. But he does because he fills that role, that second center role. What do they do? I don't know. What do they do? What do they do these next couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just going to try Morgan Frost maybe at center, at the second line center. I don't know if I want to give him that much of a role right away. I need to see more from him. I personally would probably move Drew back to center as a second line center. They don't want to do that. They want to stick with the first line as Drew, Couturier, Konechny.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with Morgan Frost and if he can be ready to take that second line center spot, or they'll give it to a guy like Brassard. But I don't think Brassard's the second line center at this point in his career.
Right, but you only need it for how many weeks? You know what I'm saying?
Probably about 10 games, give or take.
Right. So, I think it's the same thing as like the JT Realmuto, where like when Reese was hurt for those 10 games, you can slide JT in for a week or two,
right,
at the fourth spot, the cleanup hitter. I think they can do something similar where the first 10 games, like the way hockey's played, the first 50 games, when you're at the 50th game of the year, you kind of know what you are, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know if you're a good team or a bad team or a middle team. So I don't think if they go 500 in the first 10 games, it's really going to hurt them.
Right.
And maybe they have enough around the rest of the team where, they could get by 10 games without Hayes. So, I'm curious to see what they do. I really am. I'm not sure. So, what about this Forrester kid?
So
is he a center?
He's a winger.
Okay.
He might have played a little bit of both in juniors, but he's probably an NHL winger.
Okay.
She's got a tremendous shot. His shot's NHL ready. He's got the drive. He still needs to work on footwork and speed and decision making and his defense and things like that. But
Right.
I think somewhere this season, I think there's a chance he gets a shot.
Okay. So you don't think he starts off the season?
No, I don't think so. I think the injury to Wade Allison, and I was going to touch on that, but Allison's out, and definitely with a sprained ankle.
Right.
Because I guess those things are just hard to track, and who knows time frame wise and things like that. But so he's out. That could open up a spot. I think they're just so crowded up front that it's going to be hard for him to make it out of camp. Not impossible, but he's turning some heads a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, and definitely a guy that you're not totally young in that position. JVR is older, Giroux's older, so if these guys go down, maybe he is a guy they call up
Right.
to come dress for a couple games or whatever it is.
Yep.
So I've seen a lot of him in this training camp, and I am excited, even though these last couple years we've relied on these young guys. And a lot of them haven't proven, other than Farabee, really, a lot of them haven't proven that they can stay consistent.
Right.
I'm excited to see him because I think I'm more excited to see him because the rest of this team has so much more depth than they did the last couple of years. Like, not depth, but like better players in the positions that they had the last couple of years. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Right.
Like I think Atkinson is a upgrade over Voracek. I think Farabee coming back for another year. You know what I'm saying? Like he might be better than he was last year. So like, you're kind of better in a lot of positions. So like, I'm definitely more excited to see young guys play with those guys.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you one thing about the game tonight. And I didn't really expect anything less, but the Ellis Provorov pairing looks really solid.
Yeah.
Looks really smooth.
Did you see the
just
power
steady.
play? They were on. I think it was.
No, I don't think so. I think missed
It might have
that.
been the second period, the beginning of the
Yeah,
second
I only
period.
watched the first. I only watched the first period.
So they moved the puck around. Like, I mean, again, it's preseason.
Yeah.
It's the first game. But
Right.
they moved the puck around like they've been
encouraging.
playing for 50 games. Like
Right.
they couldn't get it in, but they took like 5 or 6 shots off. Like it
Really?
was they were moving the puck around like they've been
Yep.
playing together for 50 games. Like
Nah.
it looked really good. And I mean, obviously we want to see results. We want to see the puck in the net.
Right.
But it's also very refreshing to see them passing the puck around.
Right.
Actually-
Preseason isn't necessarily about how many goals you score, how many games you can win. It's just trying to get things right. And if it's game one of
Consistency,
preseason and they have the power play right already, I mean that's a tremendous sign.
Right, especially with Hayes being down. I mean,
Right.
if you can get on the power play and score, that really helps. But even with or without him. But
Right.
but yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see them move the puck around. They actually set up play. Like I feel like the last couple of years they had a lot of trouble setting up plays on the power play, like design plays, and like it just seemed like they had 3 or 4 different design plays ready to go, and like they just couldn't get it in the net. And like
Right.
sometimes that's just kind of unfortunate. But they looked good passing it around. They really did.
Yeah.
Ellis took a couple hacks at it from the line.
It just looks steady. And,
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't see Ristolainen tonight.
Right.
He wasn't in the lineup tonight, so maybe next game we'll see him and kind of see where he's at in his game. Because I mean, the skeptics are loud, when it comes to Ristolainen.
Sure.
I'm not a big hater on Ristolainen like the analytic nerds out there. But I'm just excited. Again, I'm excited to see something new with this lineup.
Right.
Now, are they going to Stanley Cup contender? I hesitate there to say yes. I still think they're missing the top shelf offense, and I
Goal
think
scorer,
that
yeah.
right, they're missing a top shelf goal scorer, and I think just depth on the back end and consistency in net. I think those main things I think are holding them back from being a contender. But at the same time, I'm just excited to see something new. They're not checking out the same Jake Voraceks and things like that. And just hoping it finally clicks and it's something new. And if this doesn't work, then you scrap it all and you start from scratch.
Right. No, I completely agree. And I think the three big things this year are Carter Hart, the defense, and so for instance, like even though they don't have that top goal scorer, I think if Carter Hart plays well, the defense plays well, and what was the last thing?
The top goal scorer?
No, if they don't have the top goal scorer,
Right.
I just think if all these things mix well together without having that top goal scorer, I think they'll be good. Like they'll be a lot of fun to watch this year.
Yeah, you could see a scenario where they don't have a 40 goal scorer, but maybe they have 4, 5, 6, 20 goal scorers, and maybe they just kind of spread it around a little more, which I guess could happen.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just really excited for the season. We've been talking about it the last couple of weeks,
Yep.
but yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm excited to see Ellis and Provorov like we saw tonight. Ristolainen, like you said, seeing if he can bounce back. Yeah, and I'm really really excited to see Carter Hart play in front of this potentially good defense.
He looked very solid in the first period.
Yeah, he did. He looked really good. And that's always a good thing.
Absolutely. I mentioned it before. I hope we're gonna get somebody on Talk Flyers within the next couple weeks. Kevin Durso, Sports Talk Philly. I reached out to him. He's willing to come on. So we'll talk Flyers season preview. I think October 11th, the Monday before the season starts. So
right.
I'm excited for the Flyers preview there.
So I'm watching the game tonight, and I see I don't know who he is. I believe he's a rookie. I couldn't even tell you his name or who it was. I saw number 24 out there for the Flyers, and I almost had a heart attack. I thought it was Matt Reed. I almost threw up in my mouth again for the second time.
I forget who that was, but I thought something similar. I would look, but I'm sure that'll take too long. But yeah, we don't need Matt Reed back on this team.
No,
I'm done with the Matt Reed days.
Yes.
All right, well, we can get out of here. You have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I just feel bad for that cat that fell in the river from the beginning. So
I totally get full circle. One thing I did want to mention is we do have a new merch store online. You can check it out here, bonfire.com/store/fired up. So some cool shirts, some cool design. The Go Bird shirt is new. Ring the Bell shirt. We got our we're talking about the fighting shirt. Hopefully these two shirts can spark some confidence in the Phillies. I'm not overly confident, but whatever. It's fine. Check those out and
Yep.
Yeah. So all right, well let's get out of here again. Follow us on Twitter @Phired Up Podcast. And see us anywhere you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We're on YouTube as well, and we'll be back Monday night next week. It won't be Tuesday. Let's go. No, we are not a Notre Dame podcast. Let's go Notre Dame. No, I'm rooting for Cincinnati. Anyway, let's get out of here. We will see you guys next week.
I